Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this Songbird thing has caught my attention. This thing is it's up 31% in the last 24 hours. Now, I wanted to point something out. The reason the reason I'm talking about this is that I think they finally have the date that Flare is coming out, which is supposed to be the 9th of January. And so I've been kind of not really talking about all this stuff because I was waiting for it to actually happen. And I think that they're finally there. So, but here's what's interesting to me is this was sent to me by Matt Marley, who goes by XRP Diamonds to the Sky. Look at this. It says every single, and I've heard this kind of stuff, but like I said, I haven't really been covering this just because until it was ready, I was just going to kind of leave it alone. But now that it's here, I want to kind of show you this. Now I've just to let you know before I read this, I have bought Songbird. I did it in my Bifrost wallet you put on your phone, and I did it so that I could go through the process of wrapping and all that stuff. You can do all that and earn Songbird. So I did that. You can do it too. But here's the tweet, telemarketer. Every single thing that will ever be on Flare Network must be tested on Songbird first before it ever touches Flare Network. Songbird will actually be needed way more than Flare. Most people miss the fact that Songbird is its own chain and will never go away. It will run parallel to Flare. Many projects that go on Songbird may choose to stay on Songbird and not go to Flare. It's always about choice. Same thing they say about XRP Ledger. Now look at Kusama Coin's website. Kusama is a canary network for Polkadot. Not much of a difference with Songbird to Flare, except Songbird is way more scarce and will become much more scarce after Flare distribution. So this is interesting to me. And again, I'm not a tech guy. There are many people that are experts on this Flare and Songbird thing, and you can go watch them to find out more about this. But I'm just telling you what I have seen so far. Now, this is an interesting prediction. This is from an attorney here. I think he's an attorney, but not yours. He says prediction time. Ripple loses summary judgment on all sales by them. Brad and Chris go to trial and win. Torres writes a strong positive opinion on the secondary sales. SEC goes for full disgorgement and $100 million fine. We see emails during BNC trial, Brad and Chris trial, Ripple appeals, and ultimately SCOTUS in 2027. And then Jeremy Hogan says, all very possible predictions, although I just don't see how Torres has any jurisdiction over the secondary sales. She could put in something about them in dicta, but it wouldn't be binding. Then he says, my original draft said dicta, but I figured it, but lost on everyone except, it would be lost on everyone except us lawyers. It would be lost, excuse my clumsy post. All right, so, but the gist of what this is saying is that Ripple, he's predicting Ripple loses appeals to the Supreme Court. But on the secondary sales, which is what matters to you and me, on the sales of XRP on the secondary market, in other words, going forward, that they would, this is the way I read it, that they would basically win, which is a win for you and me. And that's why I like this prediction, Tom. Now, check this out from the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. This guy says one day gas stations will become as nostalgic as payphones. And then Elon Musk comes in and says bank branches and ATMs too. Ooh. Now, check this out. We showed you this a week or two ago where Gary Gensler had hidden the details of his meetings with George Soros, this woman who was the wife of a president who, I don't say her name, and crazy lunatic Nancy Pelosi from public version of his calendar. In other words, Gary lied and hid these entries on his calendar that he met with these people. And I've said a bunch of times, why is the chairman of the SEC having meetings with a man who hates America? That's what I want to know. What good could possibly come for this country out of that? Well, Laura Logan had tweeted this: these people have targeted so many for so long, they lie and smear with impunity. Finally, someone with the reach of Elon Musk is taking them on. Elon Musk calls for an investigation into George Soros for controlling information. And just by coincidence, the chairman of the SEC has phone calls and planning meetings with him. Folks, it's time to get angry for the sake of your children, if you're not already. James Phelan, John Deaton has formally filed his notice of appearance on behalf of amicus curiae in this is in the library case. My understanding of this is that this Naomi Brockwell, she literally has never bought or sold any library tokens, but she has apparently she uses their social media platform, which is like a YouTube, and I think she's received library tokens. In other words, the utility of library is the only way that she's ever touched them, which disproves the entire case the SEC had against library. But remember, Gary filed the library case in a district where he probably had buddy judges and he thought he could win. That's what the whole point of the library case was, from what I remember. Now, just a reminder that only 2 men, to my knowledge, have ever been able to successfully, quote, come in and see us at the SEC. That's Joseph Lubin and Sam Bankman-Fried, and we will keep reminding you of this.
Ryan Selkis is doing the Masari project.
So it seems like you think that that's the future, where there's self-regulation, but yet at the same time we know that the SEC has issued subpoenas to at least 80 of the token issuers. Is that something that makes you nervous at all? Like,
what's the number that you've encountered? So we've got 1 confirmation and maybe 1 other confirmation.
So you think it's only 2?
Well, we've heard rumors that there are 80 out there, but we don't know.
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with us, because we've been meeting with the SEC and we're getting a free pass, or got a free pass. Now, check this out. Sam Bankman-Fried has arrived in court for his arraignment. There he is. Not playing video games now, are you?
I gotta get in. Guys, that's it.
What kind of parents must this guy have to put him in this situation? His parents, they have a lot of blame at their feet on this. Being a parent, I know. Tyler Winklevoss tweet against DCG reminds me of CZ's tweet against FTX. The only difference is that CZ was saying he was going to sell something, but it is kind of similar. Now, check this out. I don't know all the details on this, but this is what this person's saying. Bottom may not be in. Turns out Sam, FTX CEO, and Barry Silbert, Grayscale CEO, are buddies, and Sam sat on the Genesis board, also bankrupt. Now, I don't know that. If DCG, Grayscale, value is 0, which I don't know that it is, then wait for Grayscale to collapse to call the bottom, where those S600K BT Bitcoin with Grayscale already sold. I don't know anything about that. Now, check this out. I did go back and look at some of Barry Silbert's tweets around FTX. Look at this. Raoul Paul. I'm still struggling to get my head around what CZ Binance built in such a short time and what SBF has built in an even shorter time. This space moves at light speed or faster. Both are undervalued versus Coinbase. And Barry Silbert says the Vanderbilt and Carnegie of this century. So I guess he's calling SBF Carnegie. Sounds similar to what Jim Cramer was calling him. When he called him the next JP Morgan or Vanderbilt, or he couldn't decide. Then the Grayscale Ethereum Trust hits record negative 60% discount. I had some of this, but I sold it a little while ago. What did I buy with it? Some of what I bought was backed, the stock backed, which is dirt cheap right now. And I believe, let me fill you in on something. If you go to Gary Gensler's calendar, and we know how dirty these people are. I'm not talking about back when I say dirty. I'm just saying these people, like as in Gary Gensler. he was meeting with what's the guy's name? Jeff Sprecher, who's the CEO of ICE, which is Bakkt's holding company. He was meeting with him. It's on his calendar, folks. Bakkt, don't forget about Bakkt. It's publicly traded stock, and the value has tanked since it came out. It's one to watch, in my opinion. Now, check this out. So I said that, hey, Tyler Winklevoss, Cameron Winklevoss, DCG, Barry Silbert, Coinbase, Gemini, I have a solution to all your problems. Maybe you should all list or relist XRP.
Barry, just checking in with Crypto Twitter. Two common questions I got was when Coinbase should relist XRP, and as we know, the GBTC Grayscale also dissolved its XRP trust. Well, should that be coming back? And the second one is, should more companies like Coinbase put Bitcoin on their balance sheet?
On the XRP question, you know, in the U.S., you just need to be very careful with decisions you make around tokens that could be or are deemed to be securities. You know, there's real consequences, and so like I can't speak for, you know, if and when Coinbase should do it, of course, but you know, for our businesses, until I think there is a kind of a regulatory green light in the U.S., it's a risk that companies just can't take.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that maybe this is the solution to their problems. List or relist XRP.